Alrighty, and we are live. How's it going, Mets and overall baseball fans? Welcome back to the channel. We have our first official post game of 2023, and I'm absolutely juiced up to get in this one. The Metropolitans take game one, as they do, feels like every single year, this time against the Miami Marlins in Miami with the 7 line in attendance, with Steve Cohen being a part of it. Mets win by a final score of 5-3, so all I ask before we deep dive the nit and the gritty about today's game and this overall victory, I want to see those W's spammed in the chat, baby. Let's go ahead and do that. Spam those W's in the live chat. People on replay, spam it down below. Again, appreciate every single one of you guys being in here. Really does mean a lot. We got a lot to get into. Baseball is back for the Metropolitans. The day didn't start off great with Justin Verlander news, but the day has ended far greater with a Mets dub in the book. So let's get those dubs spammed. Absolutely appreciate all you guys being here. Hope you guys love the graphics too. Again, I've been working tirelessly on this. A lot of things are changing with the post-game show this year. We're the #1 post-game show here on YouTube, and we're going to be deep diving all you need to know about this Mets victory, who is the player of the game, and so much more. This is just a start. We have more coming for the graphics in the next couple of days too, so I hope you guys are going to enjoy it. I hope you guys like the looks. Let me know in the live chat. Let me know in the comments below. No intro today. I have to still set up because I'm using a different software right now. We're just jumping right in this bad boy. But how we doing, Mets fans? How we feeling? Again, if I asked you a couple hours ago, you probably said, oh no, this season already ended because of what we saw regarding Justin Verlander, but thankfully it's a minor injury, and thankfully Mad Max outside that final lane today absolutely shoved, and Brandon Nemo was a stud that I'm excited to get into as well. But again, love you guys, appreciate you being in here. Hog, how you doing? James, how you doing? All my OG members and followers, happy to have you all in here, guys. And like I said, I'm amped up, I'm juiced up to get in this one. Mets start the season on the right foot. So guys, I got to ask everyone in the live chat, people down below, who is your player of the game? Because for me, it's pretty obvious. We'll get into it a little bit later, but yeah, I mean, there's one guy that stood out just a little bit more than the rest, but offensively, the Mets, honestly, for a team that, yes, they scored 5 runs on 8 hits, but they had a decent amount of production today. And again, to get 3 runs, 2 earned on Sandy Alcantara, to get him out of the game after only 5.2 innings pitched, when this guy's usually a lock to go at least 7-8 innings every single start, it feels like. That's a great start against the reigning NL Cy Young Award winner. Again, I am pumped in here. Yummy, I know you've been in here since under 100 subscribers. That's crazy. I appreciate all my live viewers. I'm just so happy to be back. I'm so happy to be doing these post-game shows, guys. So like I said, we'll be deep diving innings 1 through 9, what transpired in all this. I want to hear your reactions. I'm going to be answering your comments. We probably won't be taking callers today, but we will be taking callers in the near future, so don't worry. We're going to make sure that we do that. And each week, we're going to have special guests on the post-game shows too, so make sure you stay tuned for that. And of course, if you guys enjoy consistent Mets content, don't hesitate to smash that like and subscribe button. It's greatly appreciated. Missed you too, James. How you going, Kevin? Great member. All my OGs in here. But guys, you know, it's crazy. The day started with Justin Verlander on the shelf and Jacob deGrom healthy pitching for the Texas Rangers today. Who would have thought? I mean, look, I don't wish any ill will on Jacob deGrom whatsoever, but it is nuts. He faces the Phillies today, and he gives up 5 earned runs and 3.2 innings pitched. And the crazy thing is that Aaron Nola wasn't any better. It was a batter's box today there in Texas between the Phillies and the Rangers, just as it was between the Orioles and the Red Sox. Adley Rutschman, how you doing? 5 for 5 last time I saw. Taking the first pitch he saw from Corey Kluber, 87-mile-per-hour heater right down the pipe. See ya. Out of here. A lot of big games today, and there's plenty more. I'm excited to watch all baseball. It's going to be so much fun following along, not only for the Mets, but baseball as a whole. So lots going on here in opening day. I'm happy to have you guys a part of it. Again, hey, Jack, thank you so much for the donation. He says, big dubs are back. LFGM. Nemo is so good, so underrated. He is deserving of that contract, to say the least. Mike, great memory, said, let's go, baby. I'm keeping faith, bro. So happy to have the Mets back. I know there will be some ups and downs. Ups and downs is an understatement when you follow this Mets team. You deal with the roller coaster. We're expected to deal with the roller coaster this season. It's just a matter of how high are the highs on the roller coaster and how low are those lows. You know, the peaks and valleys, if you will. But more than anything, the biggest thing I will say is that we will be going through these ebbs and flows of emotions together as fellow Mets fans, and that is exactly why we have grown as big as we have here on YouTube over the past couple years now. This is officially my 3rd season covering this Mets team. It's insane, and this will be far and away the best yet covering this Mets team. And I cannot begin to tell you guys guys how grateful I am to be in the position that I am, to be doing these shows on every night basis, basically covering every single Mets game, and then having a podcast with Anthony Recker, Joe Serralo. We got a lot of great things going on the channel, so if you are new, make sure to smash those buttons. Trust me, it'll be worth your while. You need to update this membership. Scott, to GOAT membership, I tried updating it. I don't know why. It must have declined me for some reason. I was changing that to the Mad Max membership. I guess it didn't update yet, so I'll have to double check on that front, but I appreciate the I don't know why it didn't update. That's weird. Ed Flood, thank you for the donation. He says, Edwin Rayleigh, dude looked awesome. The pen looked fantastic today. One Scherzer was out of here. From Drew Smith to Brooks Raley to David Robertson, they shut the door on the Miami Marlins. Hello again from the Philippines. JV, thank you for the donation. He says, here we go, Wardy, LFGM. Narvaez says, GD, over McCann, big difference. Narvaez looks solid today. Got to give a pat on the back. Again, had himself a base knock. We'll take that every day of the week, and I'm sorry if I offended anybody by saying base knock, but apparently there's some, people out there that really get offended by the term base knock. If you're one of them, feel sorry for you, but it's been a constant thing going on. Bear with me, guys. I just want to make sure I have everything set for the show that we're getting into now. But yeah, big win for the Metropolitans. And my biggest thing that I want to share with you all is, what is your biggest takeaway from today's win? That is what I want to know now in the live chat to you guys, and then we'll get into breaking down this ball game. Because again, if you watch the game, then it doesn't mean too much of me breaking it down. But especially for the viewers watching live or on replay that didn't get a chance to watch and figure out what was going on in the entirety of the ball game, this is what I usually do. I'll break down innings 1 through 9, all the biggest takeaways. But for me, I want to ask you guys, what is your biggest takeaway from today's game, aside from the Justin Verlander injury pregame? Whatever it is, let me know in the live chat, in the comments down below. And again, thank you guys. Appreciate it. Let's see. Anthony says, LGM, 1-0 Verlander will be fine. Mets fans stay positive, 100%. JD says, GD, Smith, Raley, Robertson looked incredible. And don't get me wrong, they're going to get roughed up. They're going to have their bumps and bruises. Their pen isn't going to be perfect every day. It's a 162. But to start, yeah, sign me up. What base? Exactly, 5-speed. Exactly. Marte stole a base. He did steal a base, and it surprised a little bit of people, He's finally back fully healthy, but with Marte, it's like, how much is he going to run this year? Well, it didn't take him long to run. That's for sure. SR says, big best takeaway was Uncle Steve sitting in the stands with the fans. Now, that is a owner. Yesterday, shouted Darren in the 7 line, the Queen South, they called it. They were there in the outfield and right field in Miami. And Steve Cohen with his right-hand man, Michael Sullivan, great people, had a fantastic time meeting them in person, both of them, for the first time a couple months ago. And they looked like that they were having a blast with Darren, the head of the 7 line, and everyone in the 7 line. So everyone that attended the game, I hope you guys had an absolutely fantastic time. But with that being said, all right, enough dilly-dallying. Let's get into the ball game. What transpired in this one, right? Let's talk about it, and then from there, we'll get into my player of the game, and then we'll answer some more questions before we wrap things up. So, Arias with a single, again, for those that don't know, Arias, who was in that Pablo Lopez trade throughout the offseason, is the reigning AL batting champ coming from the Minnesota Twins. He had a very good day at the plate. Started the day with the first base knock, not only for the Marlins, but the first base hit that Max Scherzer has given up this season. Got himself a base hit there. Segura with a double play ball, which was great. Mets looked great defensively in that infield today. Had 3 key double plays in this matchup at minimum. Cooper with a strikeout would end the inning. And again, first and second inning, the Mets don't do anything offensively. If you watch a game, you knew that. We get to the second. Mad Max comes out. He's shoving early. A 1-2-3 with a strikeout. We get to the third inning. Daniel Vogelback with a walk and Eduardo Escobar with a strikeout. Then Narvaez with a base knock, already better than James McCann. Can't tell me otherwise. You see Trey Turner, who? Hoagie Vogie going first to third. How you doing? See you later. The Vogel speedster, rather. He looks like McFly out there. Love him so much. I love everything about that man. Again, he gets on base, which is what he's known for with the high OBP, and he gets first to third. All right, Mets are working here. And what happens? Brandon Nemo, Captain Nemo. And I understand that there's some debates as to who captain is, or the so-called captain is of this Mets team. But keep in mind that over a year ago, there were reports out that Brandon Nemo is being deemed as the unofficial captain of the Mets. The Mets would like to make him captain, or at minimum co-captain him with Pete Alonso. Now, after the Mets extended Brandon Nemo to that 7-year deal this past offseason, I think it's safe to say that Nemo is honestly the captain in this locker room. He wants to be in here. He's putting team first, Steve Cohen first. So whether you guys agree or disagree, I think it's a fair thing to say that Brandon Nemo is really the leader of this team, along with Lindor and Alonso in their own rights. He's a captain in a different way, not a guy that's going to necessarily be demanding and adamant the way that Lindor is, but in the way of being a true Met, drafted from the Mets, has been with them his entire career, and will probably be with the Mets for the entirety of his career. Either way, Captain Nemo drives in the first round of the day with an RBI sac fly. Shout out to everyone here. Shout out to you, AB. Patrick Hennessy is a captain. Shout out to Pat, too, on Hinge Yanks. If you know, you know. We then get to the bottom of the third, and Mad Max with another 1-2-3. How you doing? See you later inning with 2 strikeouts. We then get to the fourth. Starling Marte with a walk and a stolen base. Marte McFly slided in without a problem. We get to the bottom of the fourth with 1 out. Gene Segura with a walk. Normally Mets killer. Again, wasn't killing the Mets too much today. We'll see how much that changes or stays the same throughout the remainder of the series. Cooper with a double play would end the inning, but Cooper would make up for it a little bit later on if you guys were watching the game. We get to the fifth with 2 outs. Garcia with a walk. Obviously, Garcia, but that's all she wrote. Mad Max has a clean fifth. It's when we get to the sixth, which is both beneficial and hurting for this Metropolitan team. With 1 out, Brandon Nemo gets on base, pointing to the sky, thanking Christ himself, as he always does, for getting on base with a walk. Marte with a single. Then runners advance at a Jazz Chisholm error. Jazz didn't look sharp in center field today, but I will give the guy the benefit of the doubt. One, I love Jazz. I think he's a phenomenal player, deserving of being on MLB The Show cover. He's swaggy. He's great. I love everything about him, besides the fact that he's on a Mets divisional rival in the Marlins. But this is his first time really getting acclimated playing in center field, coming from that infield position. So he didn't look sharp there, and the Mets took advantage, which is the biggest thing, because Francisco Lindor, who owns the entire city of Miami from last year, if you know, you know, he raked in Miami, in Depot, and also at home at Citi Field. I mean, he was a Marlin killer, and he continued today a little bit with an RBI sac fly to drive in the Mets' second run of the game. Afterwards, Pete Alonso would have walked. Jeff McNeil would then be charged a strike because of Pete Alonso not getting back to first base in time. I thought that was ridiculous. That's something that shouldn't be charged to the batter, but in some other form. So it was a bad call by the ump. They knew it. Buck, McNeil, and Alonso were all in unison and being like, what the F is going on here? Thankfully, it wouldn't matter, because when you try to squeeze and give the reigning NL batting champ a hard time, he's going to make you pay for it by ripping a base knock up the middle to the right side, center right, getting through both infielders there and driving in another run to make it a 3-0 Mets lead. Afterwards, that will do it then for Sandy Alcantara's day. His final line is 5.2 innings pitched for the reigning NL Cy Young Award winner. 3 hits, 2 earned runs, 4 walks, 2 strikeouts on 96 pitches. And then we bring in the Southpaw Nardi for the Marlins, and he would get out of it. Canna would fly out to right field, and that'll do her for the top of the 6th. We get to the bottom of the 6th, everybody. Jacob Stallings with a double. I despise this man. For those that aren't aware, I was in front row right next to the Mets dugout when Edwin Diaz somehow, someway gave up that expected batting average of .030, grand slam, walk-off homer to Jacob Stallings at Pittsburgh back in 2021. My one and only time in Pittsburgh at that stadium, and that is how my night ended. Yes, that is an actual fact, and I know some of you guys were at that game too, so I'm not the only one, that's for sure. Also, make sure to smash that like and subscribe button, guys, if you're enjoying the live show. Mets win by a final 5-3, led by Captain Nemo himself. Anyways, Jacob Stallings with a double, Arias with an RBI double. There's a reason why he is the reigning AL batting champ, and just like that, Mad Max is facing adversity for the first time today, and it would get worse, unfortunately, before it got better. Should the Mets have pulled Max sooner? Maybe. In hindsight, it's 2020. All I know is that thankfully the Mets still came out with the dub here, because Max, who was flawless through 5 in the 6th, wasn't the same. Segura with a strikeout, but then Cooper goes oppo for a 2-run ding-dong to tie this ball game. Jazz Chisholm with a strikeout would end it. That ends Mad Max's final line. Was on par to potentially be the player of the game today, but after that rough 6th inning, hamstring. I had to change things up. No less though, Max looked sharp today. Just had that rough go a bit. Got worked. He was sweating like a mofo. A guy who's expected to thrive and take advantage of the pitch clock. One thing's for certain, a guy at his age, I do have concerns that, him working as fast as he is now because he has to with the pitch clock. I am concerned for pitchers' health, not only with Max and not only with JV, but with pitchers as a whole. We saw Max Fried separately because he was trotting to first and he hurt his hamstring. But we're seeing a lot of pitchers early already dealing with ailments, and I firmly believe that there's going to be a spike in pitcher injuries this year going directly in hand with working faster than what they're accustomed to. Even for a guy like Max, I just pray the heavens that he can stay relatively healthy because it just seems sweat bullets the way he did today. I'm like, that's not good. It's only going to be more difficult for him come the summer, and I know he's getting paid upwards of $40 million. He's supposed to handle these situations, and he fully will. I mean, Mad Max easily could be a Cy Young candidate this year. But having said that, the biggest thing for me is availability, and I just hope that he can stay as fresh as possible for as long as possible throughout this 2023 campaign. No worry, top five. No, we're mixing things up a little bit. We're not doing top fives anymore. I'm going to leave that up to you guys because we're doing a player of the game instead. But with that being said, Mad Max's final line is a 6-inning pitch, 4 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts, 1 home run on 91 pitches. Yeah, Max, I just needed one more strikeout for my bet to hit, but it's okay. I'll love it. I still love you. It is what it is. Funny enough, I had a separate bet today with DeGrom at 8+ strikeouts. He only pitches 3.2 innings today, and he gets 7. I mean, if you were a guy going for K-props today like me, it wasn't in your favor, hence is why this is opening day. No less, we then advance, guys, to the 7th inning, the top of the 7th. Eduardo Escobar rips a single. I think Brian De La Cruz said he caught it in left field diving. That schmuck didn't catch it. It hit the ground first. It was a base knock for Eddie, his first and only of the day. Omar Narvaez would get on base soon after with a walk, on base twice today, and Brandon Nemo stepping up immediately after the Mets were in a tied ball game to rip a 2-run double to increase now the Mets regaining the lead, and this will be the game winner by a final score of 5-3. From there, in the 7th, Drew Smith would come in. Soler would rip a double, but Drew Smith, talking about rebounding, gets out the next 3 batters he faces, including 2 strikeouts to end the inning. Drew Smith looked like a bulldog today. Love that. Need more of that because Drew Flo is expected to be in a bigger role for this Mets bullpen than what he was in the years prior. Getting now to the 8th inning, the top of the 8th, Jeff McHitz with a bunt single. Why? Because he's Jeff effing McHitz. It doesn't matter if it's a bunt single, if it's a single through the I can't even say the shift. If it's a single up the middle, if it's a double, if it's the home run every once in a while, he just is an absolute hits god. Canna with a hit by pitch, which tells you that baseball is officially back. Runners would then advance on a wild pitch, and Eduardo Escobar would then end the inning, unfortunately, with a strikeout. And I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be that guy. Brett Beatty would have driven a run. I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be that guy. I'm not going to be that guy. We then get to the bottom of the 8th inning. Brooks Raley, in his Mets debut, was initially supposed to pitch for Team USA in the WBC, was replaced by Aaron Loop, the Mets legend himself, because he dealt with a low hamstring strain. Comes in today, and he strikes out 2 in a 1-2-3 8th. Brooks Raley, how you doing? Happy to have you here. Joely Rodriguez, who chasing Shreve? Who never heard of her? All right, now let's get to the 9th inning, shall we? With 2 outs, Starling Marte and Francisco Lindor both rip a couple base hits. Alonso striking out with bases with multiple guys on. It is what it is. It's the first game of the year. I'm not going to beat him up about it. I will tomorrow. Now I will. I'm joking. We then get to David Robertson, the bottom of the 9th, and he looks phenomenal. 1 inning pitch, 0 hits, 0 earned runs, 0 walks, 2 strikeouts, and David Robertson gets the first save of the Metropolitans' first win of this 2023 season. Final score 5-3 is your final. Appreciate everyone chiming in once more, guys. Love you all to death. Now, drumroll please. It shouldn't take a rocket scientist to figure this one out, but yes, the player of the game is, yes, you guessed it, Brandon Nemo. Brandon Nemo was an absolute beauty today. And again, talk about a guy that wanted to be here. Can we just really appreciate Brandon Nemo for another minute? This guy came out, balled out in the first game, which is what you love to see. But I just cannot emphasize enough how much I appreciate him, because there was a lot of rumblings that Brandon Nemo wasn't even going to be coming back to the Mets. I mean, there are people out here that literally thought that it was going to be a situation where he was going to Toronto, or he was going to Colorado because he's a Wyoming boy, and the closest team for him to be a fan of around there was the Colorado Rockies. No, he comes back to the Mets on that 7-year deal, whatever it was, trying to be a Metropolitan for the remainder of his career. And I even give him further props because he went out and made sure he stayed with the Mets this spring. Started off spring slowly, didn't play in a lot of games for the first 2 weeks because he wanted to stay healthy. Of course, then got hurt on St. Patty's Day, which wasn't long after Edwin Diaz's injury, so people were mocking him, saying, oh, but the WBC. He was never mocking the WBC, for those that aren't aware. He specifically didn't play in the WBC this year when he played for Italy back in 2017, and he could have again with a couple Royals plays there, and like Nicky Lopez, Vinny Pasquantino. He didn't because he hurt his hamstring in 2017, the WBC. So for anyone saying, oh, he's being a schmuck by not going, no, he knows his health. If you're an average Mets fan, Brandon Nemo has been injury riddled throughout his career. And for him being a long-term investment for Steve Cohen now, you got to appreciate him staying with this team. So yes, he got hurt in spring, but that didn't last too long. Only lasted about a week, thankfully. And then he was back playing week and a half, whatever it was. But Brandon Nemo is my star of the game. He is my player of the game. And guys, we actually will be having some more slides and post-game shows this year. Throughout the next couple of days, we'll be having slides where everything is updated so you guys can see all the player statistics. We're going to be having live scores and stuff like that. Just don't have everything done just yet. These things take time. I've been putting a lot of work into this. So I want to make sure at least things are somewhat appealing for you guys, the viewers. And I hope you guys like this format more than what we were originally doing. And then we're going to have guests on plenty this year too. Each week is the goal for sure to at least have one, if not multiple. So if you guys like what we're doing here, again, continue smashing those buttons. And #1 post-game show here on YouTube for a reason. I know I keep saying it, but damn have I missed Mets baseball. And earlier today, we all had the Blues a little bit right. It sucks when you see your ace that you just signed and Justin Verlander down and out for the year. But what does help fill that void is knowing two things. One, JV should only be out for a couple starts. Tyler McGill, my man Tyler McGill, I got to see. I'll probably meet up with Julie again if she's going to be at the home opener. That is McGill's mom. Had a chance to meet her, Tyler's dad. Great people. Had a chance to meet Tyler too in person. If you guys saw the post on the community tab a couple weeks ago in spring training, he's 6'7". I'm 5'5". You do the math. You look. I know I'm a short schmuck, but my goodness gracious, I looked like plankton out there in comparison to him. Great guy, though. I'm excited to see what McGill can do. Obviously, would have been more excited to see the reigning AL Cy Young Award winner, but thankfully, once more, JV shouldn't be out more than, say, 2-3 starts. Hopefully, his imaging comes back clean in a week when he gets further imaging as he's throwing throughout the next week. And again, if you can end the day on a dub, I'm going to gladly take that. So, a lot of positives still in Mets land, even with all the adversity that they're currently facing. So, my question to everybody here in the live chat now is, all right, what is your prediction for the Mets this season regarding win total? We did a podcast on the channel last night. Make sure to check it out. Myself, Anthony Recker, Joe Sorrell. Audio wasn't great. I apologize. It's something that we're trying to figure out. Probably won't be too hot next episode too, but hopefully after like 1 or 2 episodes from now, we'll be fixing it up a little bit. Our predictions we were all in unison. We all picked the Mets to have right around 95 wins this year. So I want to know for you guys, what is your prediction for the Mets this season? How many wins do you think they're going to have? In the live chat, let me know right now. People in replay, let me know in the comments below. I want to see it. I want to hear it. So let's see. I got 97. I got 90. I got high 90s. I got 94. I got a little bit of how you doing. I got a little bit of this. Got a little 101, 99. Okay, I'm waiting for that like stupid number. 92, 103. We're going down the list. 96. How's it going, Dave? Love you, brother. Let's see. 110. I don't know what you're smoking, GD, but that has to be some good shit, and I kind of want some of it, if I'm being honest. George, 89. Thomas with 93. 100 says Larry. Larry, my man, how you doing? 92 says it's your boy Home Slice. Love the name. 116 says Keanu Reeves. If Keanu Reeves is saying it, it has to be true because he's the most honest and genuine man in Hollywood, but that's a discussion for another day. 91 says Kevin. 420 says Joe. He's feeling it. He's like, you know what? There's 162 in the season, but we're going to double it. Plus double it. All right? 105. This is great. Okay, so if the Mets get 100-plus wins this year, I will be beyond pleasantly surprised. Not that they can't do it. Rec and Joe made the point yesterday thinking that it would actually be in the Mets' favor, this schedule, by playing the division less because you're going to be able to play more of the AL Central, for example. And while those are valid points, I do think the overall traveling this year will have an impact on all teams evenly. but I do think it'll impact the Mets too. And for that reason, knowing that you can't beat up on, say, the Nationals and the Marlins, sometimes the Phillies, even though I do believe the Phillies are a better team than what they were last year, once Harper's back especially, but, Trey Turner still scares me. We know that. Not being able to play these guys for more than 13 games is going to be interesting for sure. And for those reasons, that's really why I picked them around 95. I think 95 can win this division, or at least have you right there, maybe a game or two out. I think from 1 to 3 between the Mets, the Braves, the Phillies this year, I really think it's going to be a tight-knit race all year round. I'd be shocked if it wasn't, honestly, and the only way it really isn't is if detrimental injuries that are, not able to rebound from, not able to fix internally or via trade, that's the only way I could see them not all being around, maybe 5-6 games from each other. Like, I really don't think the Braves and Phillies are going to be far off from the Mets at all this year, regardless on who wins the division. Whether that's the Mets, the Phillies, or the Braves, that is yet to be seen. Not worried about the division at all right now. And I said this once the season ended last year, and I'll say it again, guys. Winning the division is an immaculate feeling, right? And it's something that I hope to see the Mets do this year. However, winning the division also doesn't mean nearly as much for me as a fan as it does the Mets just making sure they're playing competent baseball in the final month of the season heading into October and playoffs. Okay? And that Phillies team is such a prime example. Not even a 90-win club. And they were in a fluke. They had a phenomenal run, and they lost to the big bad Astros the same way that the Mets had a phenomenal run in 15, but lost to the big bad Royals. The Royals that were there the year prior, and this Astros team that was there the year prior. You see the similarities? So it's more than a Cinderella story, though. Like, that they provided their best offense and pitching when it mattered most. That's what I want to see the Mets do. So I'm just putting this ahead for Braves fans, Phillies fans that are going to have themselves. If either of those fan bases, those teams win the division this year, congratulations to them. But we've learned that doesn't mean jack shit, pardon my French. It means nada. It can mean something if you take advantage of the scheduling come playoff time, but no one did last year. And I think we're going to see more upsets more and more as the years go on with this expanded format. The Braves, what they do after taking the division from the Mets? Oh, they sucked absolute you-know-what to the Phillies. So really, in hindsight, how much did it matter? The Mets technically even had a better record than the Braves last year because of how the Braves faltered in playoffs, because the Mets had less losses. Yes, that's a true fact. It's funny. So, point I'm trying to make is, would I love to see this Mets team win the division? Of course, who wouldn't? But a Mets team that is just performing the way that we need them to perform down the stretch where it matters most is what I will be emphasizing the most this year. All right, with that being said, let's get us some donations. Let's see. GD says 110 wins, put in the book. Contact ball for what it's worth. Yep. All right, I like that. All right, Sprite, thank you so much for the donation. Love you. She says, LGMW, happy opening day, Tyler. New layout is nice. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Did I realize I changed back from the Brandon Nemo player of the game. All right, cool. So, also want to let my loyal channel members know. For any of my channel members, I need to change it. I know the membership says DeGoat membership. It should say Mad Max. I don't know why I didn't update. I did add new emojis, though, so if you guys do become members of first tier or the top tier, really, it's just ways of supporting the channel. If you guys would like to do that, it is always greatly appreciated, but by no means, last thing I'll ever do is force it down your throats. But especially for live streams like this is where it comes in key. If you like to have a little bit of advantage, if you like to use emojis and stuff like that, if you like to get exclusive call-outs before others say, then that's the way to go. So again, I know the new emojis I added this year. I put Kodai Senga in there. I put Justin Verlander in there that we have yet to use, unfortunately. I feel like I added at least one more guy in there. I'm not certain, though. I got to double check. There's one more player I feel like I add in there, but I'll have to go back and look. SR with the donation says, and thank you for the donation, says, how many times is Mark Cannon going to get hit by a pitch? Dude, you know how Jeff McGill is the hits god? Mark Canna is the hit by pitch god. This guy is such a ball magnet. He could be in all the way, sitting with the 7 line and right field, and somehow he's the one guy to not catch a home run ball, but for it to hit him right on the noggin. That is Mark Canna in a nutshell. It is what it is. Him, Brandon Nemo, Jeff McHitz, even Alonso. I mean, this Mets team got hit at a record pace last year. We have one hit by pitch. That's better than last year, I'll say that very much. I mean, I remember like it was yesterday. For those that aren't aware, I was in attendance in DC last year for the Mets opening series on the road. Mad Max, that was there for the game 2 of that series. Mad Max's first start as a Met, and it was against his former team, no less. And that's the game where Cishek drilled Lindor in the head, hit Alonso. It was a shit show. It was all over the place, right? So thankfully, hit by pitches weren't to that magnitude today, but I feel like it's inevitable. It's waiting to happen. Just a matter of if, rather when, we're going to see that. All I hope is that if the hit by pitches continue, let it be more body shots that are bruising, but you can deal with it versus, God forbid, anything in the head area, because that flap that they have for their helmets, that's only going to last them so long and preventing hits. God forbid, you're going to have those rare instances where it squeaks through, or, they turn their head last second. We just saw it happen to Justin Turner here in spring for the Red Sox. Thankfully, he's okay, but it was like a Pilar situation 2.0. The only difference is that he didn't break his nose, I think, which is awesome. Just got really cut up and bruised up bad. But yeah, just feel, it sucks that the Mets are as ball magnets as they are. And the bigger thing that sucks is that they don't retaliate either. That's why I feel like that's the only reason why Tommy Pham's on this team at this point, is to bring a little bit of snarl attitude. I mean, the guy's bad as cheeks. I mean, from what we've seen in his small instance in spring here with the Mets. I mean, when he struck out today, he looked like he was karate chopping. It looked like David Spade if you watch, oh shoot, what's the movie? Why am I blanking? Benchwarmers, where he goes like, yeah, if you know. I mean, not good. I know Pham will get better throughout the year, but the point stands is that he at least brings some snarl, like no nonsense, like not knowing how to add a filter to himself. Like if he's told not to swear on television, he's going to slip up and say, oh shit, like that's just the type of guy he is. So I hope that if this hit by pitch type routine continues, that the Mets will actually do something about it. I'm not saying throw out the opposing team necessarily, but I'm saying do something about it. Do more than just have Buck stare for 2 seconds that we all make memes out of. Okay. That is what I say. If you have to go a little old school, go old school. Nolan Arenado being the little priss that he is, I can't wait to face off against the Cardinals. It's going to be a great series this year, right? If you guys remember last season, Nolan Arenado gets thrown in by Adonis Medina, doesn't even touch the schmuck, and he throws Nito and trying to charge him out because he's a little priss. Why? Why? Then Pete Alonso, who actually gets hit in that series, you don't see him acting that way. And again, you see the difference in the characters, but I do want to see some way of kind of making it known that we're not going to take this shit like we did last year. So just food for thought, getting on that rant now because I know that's going to be warranted sooner rather than later. And bear with me, everybody. I'm just double checking something, then we'll go from there. And guys, I don't know where we are in the like count too, but continue smashing that like and subscribe on. It's greatly appreciated. We'll probably be live for the next 10 to 15 minutes. We're not going to have a crazy long show today. The shows that go hour and a half plus, or one we'll be taking live callers, which I plan to do this year, which I'm very excited about. So make sure to stay tuned for that. And I hope you guys, again, are enjoying the format. This is something that has been in the works for a while. It's always nice to upgrade things and just wind things. It's nice when you have a vision and you can have it become reality, and that's what we're doing here on the channel. So I'm very grateful for everything. So let's get into some donations here, and then we'll go forward. Sprite says, you've been a member for 12 months now. Awesome. Thank you so much, Sprite. Let's see. Yeah, says to go on mine, member for a year now. Yeah, I don't know why. YouTube has a thing where you can request to change and update your memberships, but if there's something in that update that they don't like, then it's a situation where you have to go back and refix it. They don't always notify you. So I have to go check, and I'll do that, my due diligence, when I get the chance. Ryan, thank you for the $5 holla. He says, honestly, we need to win the division to prove ourselves, so no one has any doubt we are the best in the NL for years to come. LFGM, baby. Love you, Warrior. Love you too, Ryan, and I couldn't have said it better. Thank you so much for the donation. I understand the sentiment with winning the division. If you win the division and you don't choke in your first round, then you're finally getting rid of that LO Mets narrative. There cannot be one schmuck on this planet that says LO Mets if the Mets do 2 things. 1, win the division, and 2, actually go past the NLDS. That is for sure. And if you do, then you're just not paying attention. And James, thank you for the new membership. I appreciate you, my man. Hold on. Let me just check some real quick, everybody. Awesome, guys. Guys, help us. We're around halfway to 300 likes here in the live show. Continue smashing that like and subscribe button. Really, really does mean a lot. And like I said, if you guys enjoy live shows like this, we are going to be doing it pretty much every single game this year. We'll be covering the entirety of this Marlins series. We'll be covering all series. The only things that will be changing is this weekend will be the only weekend for a little bit that you have guaranteed post-game shows. The only times that we probably won't have post-game shows, if any days, will be Saturdays and Sundays, unless that they are big wins that are warranted of going out of my way from what I'm doing in my personal life to go ahead and do the show, even if it's just off my phone or something. Mainly, we'll be doing post-game shows around 4-5 times a week. Weekends are really where I'm going to try to keep things open a little bit so I can, one, reset, live my life a little bit, share time with family and friends and things of that nature. But, we're still going to cover at least 100 games this year out of the 162. Wouldn't surprise me if we touched like 110 last year, 112. I mean, we covered a ridiculous amount of games last year, like far more than I should, given some of the games that just weren't worth covering. We cover win or lose, but when it's like 1-0 games where the Mets have like 2 hits, like what am I coming here to talk about? If it's not even rant worthy, if they were just off that night, it's like, okay. So for those games, that's another thing to keep an eye out for too. We still have the relaxing music. It fits the theme. We may at some point, Chris, just don't have that set up currently, but it is a good thing to keep in mind, and I will have that noted for going forward. Thank you. Yeah, I know a lot of you guys liked having the background music. When I tell you I've been working frantically for the past 2 weeks on getting all this set up for the season, I'm not joking. So nothing's definite yet. We still are going to be adding some things, and the big thing I'm really excited for that should be coming finished tomorrow or in the coming days is everything's going to be, this show is literally going to be the equivalent of you watching, SNY MLB Network. Like, we're going to have our live scoreboard on the bottom. You're going to see the highlights for every team. The guys that are standing out statistically. Going to see live scores update of everything. So if you guys are interested in following along throughout all MLB teams and, keeping up to date with all the Mets stats and the opposing team, we're going to have that all running. It's all going to be awesome. We're just a couple days away still from having that in here. But for now, I really like how everything's looking. I hope you guys do too. Larry Jones says, let's go Braves, let's go Devils. 2 teams I absolutely hate. So with all due respect to Larry, no. And if you're a Devils fan, I apologize. I know we got Devils fans watching the show. Not ragging on you. You're beating my Rangers 2-0 right now. So I got no room to talk shit yet. Any reason for the Believe departure? Yeah, we're just parting ways. That's as simple as that. I'm not going to elaborate or anything like that. We have awesome things in the works, however, that I'm excited to share. In case you guys are not aware, myself, Anthony Recker, former Met, current MLB Network analyst, and Joe Sorrell, we're all together in a Mets podcast, and we had been with Believe Network for a period of time. We started summer last year, but we are now separated from Believe. We are our own entity, and we will be... I can't say it, but just know that awesome things are coming. Exciting things are coming. That once official, I'm very excited to share with you all. And I will leave it at that. So, yeah, again, further reason why you guys got to be following along. When I tell you that this is going to be far and away the biggest year on the channel, I can't emphasize that enough. I really can't. Take your time on the update. I've been working on my graphic novel series for 10 years, so I understand how much work it is. Graphic novel series. Very interesting, Christopher. I'm intrigued to hear more about that. My goodness. That sounds pretty neat. Just make sure your health stays good. Absolutely, Scott. And yes, and I'll let you guys know too, to my 300 plus viewers, especially if you guys are new, I suffer from anxiety. I have nothing to hide about it. I deal with it every single day. I would be lying if I said that I didn't have a certain level of anxiety before the show even began today, just because it's one of those things I constantly deal with. It's a fluke story. I'm not going to get into it long-winded, short and sweet. I suffered a huge bad panic attack covering the Mets post-game show when they won their one wildcard game against the Padres with Jacob deGrom on the mound. Now, it was a big spiral up to that point. I was making sure that I was locked in for every game, but I got in bad habits. I was having energy drinks at a way too common basis, not getting nearly enough sleep every day, just trying to make sure I was covering the Mets and not worrying about my own health and well-being. And I was at the Mets game the night before screaming my head off when Mad Max got absolutely shelled by the Padres. And I live in Pennsylvania, Pennsylvania, so I had like no sleep getting back home that night to then cover the Mets game, and then everything just caught up with me. I mean, it was a bad night, and ever since then, I've suffered with anxiety on a daily basis. It's the most annoying, pain in the ass thing imaginable. But just know that if there are nights where, say, I end things a little early or not feeling too hot, it's nothing personal. It's just the simple fact that I do deal with anxiety, and now that I'm just one of many of you that deal with it too. It's actually crazy. It's funny that I bring this up because Daniel Bard, the stud reliever for the Colorado Rockies, just is now being put on the IL because of anxiety. He's dealing with like his own yips right now, which is crazy. It's rare when you see it happen to an athlete as well, but I hope that he heals up and gets better too, because anxiety is no joke, and it's the worst thing too, because there's really no thing that justifies it. It just builds up, and sometimes it comes out of nowhere and smacks you across the face and say, hey, you're going to deal with a panic attack now. Why? No effing clue why. You're just going to deal with it. So again, shit I'm going to have to deal with, but thankfully I am in a much better spot than I used to be. But yeah, just throwing that out there for you guys. I got nothing to hide. This covering the Mets is my livelihood, and I'm excited as all hell to be covering this team throughout what is hopefully going to be an exciting 162. I'm sure we're going to have those games where they really push me on the brink, getting the heart palpitating a little bit, naturally, because I've screamed my head off over the games. I'm going to try to dial that back a little bit, be a little bit more rational, but it's hard to hide true fandom. That is for sure. But I will do my best to keep things balanced. And Jamari, I appreciate that. Thank you. Let's see. Your hat is fire. Love the new look as well. Amazing job. Thank you, Ronan. I appreciate that. Appreciate the donation. Yeah, I got this in Port St. Lucie with the when I was there a couple weeks ago. I will be alternating the hats and the fits this year. That's another thing. I'm not going to be as anal about what I wear every stream as long as it's Mets related, because my Mets OG black hat, I do plan to wear a little bit more this year, but I got to retire at some point. That puppy is beat. I've worn that thing so many times. I've had it for almost a decade. It doesn't even feel comfortable on my head anymore. I have a big noggin. If you flick my chin, I look like a damn bobblehead out here. I mean, it ain't working. I'm very anal about the hats I wear too, specifically because my head just freaking pulsating so fat. I'm that guy that gets a headache so easily from dehydration. It's not even funny. So especially when I'm doing live, like the fact that I started the channel and I used to do like every live stream, like even in the summer with the effing denim jacket on and a tight ass hat, I don't know what I was thinking. Like I'm an ass for that, but hindsight's 2020. Everything's mixing up this year. Let's see. Yes, exactly. Yeah, beautifully said. Sprite says, yeah, panic attacks and anxiety are that friend that shows up to your house unannounced. I could not have said it better. What, you think I want you to come in the door? It's the equivalent of what is it? Is it the it's a certain entity. Is it a vampire or devil or something? Where like, you have to let them in your house first, and then bad things can happen. It's like, I don't want to let you in my house. Stay out. That type of thing. Julio, thank you for the donation. It says, suit up, Worry. We need a closer. Hopefully I will see you next Thursday. You will see me next Thursday, Julio. Yeah, guys, we're going to be in awesome seats next Thursday. And we may be doing a giveaway on the channel next week. I might just be giving away tickets. To the Mets home opener, if you're lucky. So stay tuned. We'll have more updates on that next week. Going to be an awesome spot seat-wise. Cannot wait for the opener with McGill on the bump. Was JV, but now is McGill, so stay tuned for that. The dark blue hat? No, it's not dark blue. It's a black hat. AB is what it is, actually. It's not dark blue. Let me get you right with some, let's see, adult fitteds. Okay. All right, Johnny. Yeah, hit me up on Twitter if you have a Twitter, or hit me up over my email. We'll make something happen. Thumbs up if you saw the 86 Mets win at all. I wasn't alive. Otherwise, I'd whip with a thumbs up. I love the 86 Mets, though. Don't get me wrong. All right, guys. Hold on. One more thing. All right, guys, one last thing throughout the order before we hop out of here. I'll answer like one or two more questions, and that's it for the night. Again, I'm also not going to cut things off for people on replay. I know that's not the most appealing thing for a viewer to watch a recap of a game that's north of an hour. So I will be having some where I cut them up, especially days I take callers. But for today, I will probably keep it around the 45, 50-minute mark for people on replay. The Mets don't play. No, the Mets do play tomorrow, so never mind. Peterson pitches tomorrow, right? If I'm not mistaken. Let me double check. Blacklist Outdoors, my brother, how are you? Thank you so much for being in here, my man. Long time no see. Hope you and the family are doing fantastic, man. I'll have to reach out to you soon. Yeah, I know it's been a hot minute. Hope you're doing great, though. Yeah, Peterson tomorrow, McGill Saturday. Sunday is Kodai Senga. Monday is Cookie Carrasco to start the Brewers series. Got it. Okay. So to go through it one more time, Mets won by a final score of 5-3. Today's player of the game is Brandon effing Nemo. How you doing, Captain Nemo? 1 for 3 today with 3 RBI stakes, a double. And yeah, that'll do it. Brandon Nemo, the hottest hitter for the Mets to start the season. Going throughout the entire lineup as a whole, however, though, and we'll have a graphic for this in the coming days, so I won't have to read it off. I'll just have it physically there for you guys to see. Just don't have it yet. Brandon Nemo, 1 for 3 today in that leadoff that we discussed. Charlie Marte, that's why he's staying on the thumbnail. I love when I make thumbnails before a live show and I don't have to edit it because the guy that's on it actually performed well enough to stay on it. Marte, 2 for 4 with the runs scored, the walk, and the stolen base today. Francisco Lindor with an RBI, 1 for 4 on the day. Pete Alonso, 0 for 4, no biggie. Jeff McHitz, 2 for 4 with the RBI. Mark Canha, 0 for 3. Daniel Vogelbach, Hoagie Vogie, 0 for 1 with the runs scored. Tommy Pham, 0 for 2. Eduardo Esco with 1 for 4 with a run scored. And Omar Narvaez, starting off his Mets career as a .333 hitter, will take that to the bank. 1 for 3 with a run scored. Mad Max, solid until that final inning. 6 innings of 3 earned run ball. Drew Smith, 1 inning pitch, 1 hit, 0 earned runs, 0 hits, 0 walks, 2 strikeouts. Brooks Raley, a 1-2-3 eighth, no hits, no earned runs, no walks, 2 strikeouts. And David Robertson shutting the door down on Miami in those fish sticks. 1 inning pitch, 0 hits, 0 earned runs, 0 walks, and 2 strikeouts. That is your final score. Mets win 5-3. Love you guys all to death. We will be back live tomorrow for post-game show number 2 on the season. Until then, have a great rest of your night, day, evening, folks, whenever you're watching this. And this is Wardy signing out. Let's go Mets, baby.